Yo, what's up? Welcome to episode 7 of Food for Thought. My
Hey.
name is David.
And my name is Kim.
And my name is Joyce.
You almost forgot her name.
I know, I was like, wait a second.
What up, Joyce?
Oh my God,
Oh my
yes.
God.
Welcome to the
Applause,
pod.
yes.
Welcome to the
He
podcast.
walked in. What can I say? The party's here.
The party is here. How are you? And how's your ISO life going?
Yeah, well, I'm so good, first of all. ISO life is somewhat so good. It's all right. It's all right. We've done a few very interesting things during our ISO to just kill the boredom. But you got to do what you got to do. Am I right?
Nice.
Am I right?
What sort of things have you been doing?
Well, as a few people know already, I conducted a very scientific experiment, very serious,
Okay.
very, very serious. I basically just thought, since we're all kind of like isolated, we're all going through a lot of stuff, and I know that people are using dating apps more now. So I was wondering, are people more likely to be like still horny, like horn dogs, or are they going to be more wholesome just because everything's kind of like uncertain, unstable?
Right.
And yeah,
That is a good question to ask.
Horny or wholesome?
Horny or wholesome? Horny or
exactly.
wholesome?
Exactly.
Which one? Okay. Well, before we get into that too much, let's take a trip back, and in terms of how we got to where we are today. So, what we like to ask our guests is, what's your origin story? So, I think a lot of people in the community know you as a dancer. They know you as a YouTuber now. So, how did you get into dance and then just into creativity and just creating on YouTube?
Oh wow. If anything, right, I actually started making videos before I really started dancing. And not many people know that, but yeah, it's because I didn't actually make my YouTube channel. So how it all started, right, was I would always make little funny videos for my friends, and I just upload them on Facebook just for my friends to see.
Right.
And this was just back in high school, like year 8, year 9, like real young. And I just kept making videos, and then everyone would keep saying like, Joyce, just make a YouTube channel already, And I'm like, nah, people are toxic there, I'm just here for a good time. And so then uni hits, and I think everything gets really stressful, and then I just start making videos again, just like for therapy for myself, and just to like make others laugh, because when others feel good, I feel good too. And then on my birthday, I just thought, screw it. Let's do it. Let's make that YouTube channel. And so then I was like thinking of a name, right? You don't want to be a basic bitch. So true. I'm not here. Yeah, right. I'm not here trying to be like,
I want to
Joyce.
be a basic bitch.
Some people do.
Well, I don't. Girls are a little bit more sophisticated. What can I say?
Let's go.
Yes. Love this so much. Yeah, feel free to just like abuse that button anytime.
Okay, I will. Thank you, everybody.
It's almost like an advanced conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And then okay, so I was like, I went to a very like white high school. So I was always known as like the Asian girl or something like that.
What high school?
Caulfield Grammar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, private school. There's like 2 campuses, but I went to the wider one. Hey, I'm serious. All right, I'm serious. There's the Willis Hill one, and then there's Caulfield Grammar, Caulfield campus. Yeah.
Was Willis Hill more Asian or?
For sure. That's like southeast side. So,
True.
Yeah.
Cool.
But so I was always known as like the Chinese girl, because there's literally like, it's literally my brother in the entire school that's Asian. That's how low it was. Really low. Yeah, that's Vinny. That's Vinny. And obviously I'm a little bit of a short girl, but we owned that. So that's became my brand. I became the small Chinese girl. And then I just started like, I tried to be very consistent in first year uni, but then I did biomed. So, it gets really like competitive. So I didn't have time for it. So it would be like an upload every few months. an upload every 6 months, an upload every year kind of thing.
What were you uploading?
Just random stuff. Dude, I look back at my old videos and I'm like, I actually think I had ADHD. I mean, I think I have ADHD now, but I was so spastic, man. Like,
Well, sometimes you need to be for YouTube though. You know what I mean? Like, it's good for that. It's like,
that's true.
because people's attention spans are like that. So when you are spastic, people are like, I wonder what she's going to do next.
Yeah.
That is
YouTube is the
true.
home of ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey. Facts.
Positive.
But I mean, like, my online and offline personality was quite similar. So just imagine that energy in real life.
Yeah.
Try having a conversation with that. I don't know about that.
We're trying.
You're trying right now.
Yeah, I'm trying right now. I can give it a try.
Damn. I thought I'm better now. I'm like a mature woman.
Okay.
What?
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're doing all right. So far, so good.
Thanks. I'm really controlling myself. You have no idea.
You're so proper. You're sitting so proper.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm like cross-legged right now.
Yeah.
Um,
And then dance.
Oh, and then dance. Yeah. Okay, so I kind of danced maybe like a year or two later, but honestly, I felt like I took YouTube more serious. Actually, no, both of them were just for fun. Just for fun.
Was this in uni?
Yeah. I took dance more seriously once I got out of high school, and I joined the uni club Flair Dance Ensemble.
Hey, shout out Flair.
Represent, shout out Flair. And then it got probably the pinnacle of like seriousness in dancing was when I took a gap year. So I finished biomed, and this was my plan, right? So I finished biomed, I would take one gap year, and then I would go back to studying. So in that gap year, that's when I like really took it seriously, because I had like all this time to just like hone my craft or just like have fun with my hobbies. And then, accidentally fell in love with it. So we're not going back to uni, obviously. Oh, is he okay?
Sorry, my nephew is like just started
That's so
playing the
cute.
piano.
Yeah. He just
That's
started
so
playing
fine.
symphony. So.
He just wants to provide some background music.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's so fine.
Get a
That's
school
so
going
fine.
for this.
You
Nice.
guys do music.
Yo.
That's cool.
So how did you find out that you fell in love with dance? Like how does one know?
Oh, it's a feeling inside. No, I'm joking. Lame. I think like, what was it? So last year, July, that's when you have to start applying for the next year intake. So I was trying to apply for physiotherapy because that was my plan. But then, because I know that once I apply, I'm going to have to like sign my life away again, and I'll have to just go back to study, and dance will legit become the lowest priority in my life. And like when I thought about it from that perspective, I got really sad. I started panicking again, and I started like feeling really broken again, like when I was back when I was studying for biomed. And I just felt like it's not fair. Like I really like my life right now. Like when the fact that I dedicated a whole year just to do this one thing kind of says a lot to you. Like, oh, okay, I think this is something you really like.
Yeah, exactly.
And it really didn't hit me. I was just, because I had to talk to my other friends there. I had to talk to them and be like, oh, is dance like that much of a priority? And they're like, Joyce, you literally took a whole year off just so you could dance. Yeah, like, what do you think? Duh. Like, right. Oh yeah, facts, true. Yeah. I think, when it's something you think about a lot, or you kind of revolve your schedule around. And when, like, for instance, like in this ISO period, I've probably danced more than I've ever danced in a very long time. Like I spend, real facts. Yeah. I've been spending like 4 to 6 hours, which is not good. I was overworking myself, but you get the point, right? Like it's something that you can just do without being asked to do, because you just want to do it. And it makes you feel good. Like I was having a shitty day, and then I start dancing, like, oh, hey, it's all right. Everything's all right again.
Today's the best day ever.
Today's the best day ever. What?
What was that?
My cat died, but today's the best day ever.
Well, damn.
A bit too dark. Sorry.
I mean,
I just wanted to go for it. Yeah, that's it.
and I support that, you know.
You gotta risk it.
Keep going.
Comedy is like that, right?
Yeah.
Risk it for the biscuit, all right?
Risk it for the biscuit. That's what we
Hit
want.
that button.
Yeah. Yay.
All right.
Let's cover that one up.
Anyways,
Thanks for covering that up, guys. Not my best attempt.
that's okay. Fine.
Damn, man.
Where were we? What were we saying?
I was talking about.
Dance.
You asked me
Dance.
how I knew I like dance, and
Dope.
yeah.
Dope. Okay, so you found out that you love dance, and
Mm.
the YouTube videos are still going, or they're not still going, or
Okay, honestly, like, they kind of come and go. Again, they were kind of a little last priority for me. If I had time, I would make it, because I don't know, I just like making random stuff and showing my friends. But then because of quarantine, I was just like, what else can I do to like really just fill my time? Because every day I was just dancing. I'm like, okay, this is starting to get a bit boring. Like, I love dance, but monotony is just not my thing. And then my friend was just like talking to me. He just like, we were just talking about like career future options. And he said, Joyce, you should be a YouTuber, like a full-time YouTuber. I think you could do it. I'm like, YOLO, let's do it. I got time. So
Nice.
I don't know how long it's going to last, but just for like this period at least, I'm gonna just try to be consistent and upload weekly. And if it gains enough like traction or whatnot, I'll try continue that after quarantine as well, and see where that leads. If it doesn't lead anywhere, whatever. If it does, cool. You know, we're flowing. We're just flowing. You know, floating.
Yeah. As long as you're enjoying it and you're creating,
Yeah.
I guess that's the whole point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you go about ideas for YouTube? Because I know a lot of people sometimes they start and they want to do vlogging or they want to do makeup tutorials. Like for you, what's your thought process like in terms of creating?
This was because like back when I made the channel, everyone asked me like, oh, what's your genre gonna be? And that's the thing, like I like that I don't have a genre. Like I really make that a thing, so I have this like, I have no limits. I can do whatever I want. If you don't have a genre, that is your genre, you know?
True.
How I come, oh shit, really? Okay, maybe like
style of no style.
I mean,
It costs us
sure.
nothing.
Be like water.
Yes, nice. Yeah, like how I come up with ideas. I'm kind of lucky. I don't really sit down and brainstorm. I don't think that never works. I think I still have ADHD. So my mind is just like racing every single time I'm doing anything. Most of them come either as I'm walking on the toilet, or as I'm just like trying to focus on something and then I think of something else. So
sounds normal.
yeah. Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, just like the normal creative process.
Like all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
When I'm walking, when I'm taking a shit.
Must have a lot
Just
of
the
ideas.
usual, you know, just the usual. Yeah, like my latest one, I was literally like taking a Zoom class and then my brain just wandered off. I'm like, hey, that's an idea, write it down. Okay, back to class.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we kind of try and develop it to make sure that it's as like funny as possible without it being corny, without it like wasting too much time, because you don't want the video to be like too long. That's how I see it anyway. I don't know if it works, but
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like I've been in that process where it's like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea, and you get to the part where you stretch out the idea, like that's a bad idea.
yeah. Yeah. You're just like, okay, never
This is
mind.
going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, who do you watch on YouTube? Like, who are your inspirations?
Ooh, I really like David So Comedy.
Yes.
Me
Do you know him?
Yeah,
of
he's
course.
Hell yeah. Because
it.
I like the type of comedy where it's like funny because there's obviously like an intelligent guy behind it. Like it's not due to like something racist or misogynist. It's just funny because it's like well timed and like relatable, blah blah blah. And I also just like that he kind of like flips in a bit of like philosophy or
Mhm.
something deep in there, like
Yeah.
a nice just like life message as
Yeah.
well.
It doesn't seem like he's trying hard as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Like
some
it's
real
just natural.
experiences. You can
Mhm.
tell like
Mhm.
he's been through it and he's actually learned that lesson. So he's just keeping it real and just saying it
Yeah.
how it is, which is
Because
really
if
nice
you
and refreshing.
exactly because if you notice like someone's just trying too hard to make something
Mm.
funny, it just becomes not funny,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know?
It
Yeah.
exactly.
becomes sad.
Yeah, yeah. You're just giving like
Oh,
PD laughs at this point,
yeah.
like ha ha ha
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
ha.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Great.
you also heard of Daniel Sloss
No.
on Netflix? He's someone that I recently found. He has a Netflix special. Also just a real funny stand-up comedian.
Nice.
Yeah.
Daniel
Sloss.
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 Okay. Why
Okay.
do you like him?
He's really different. I think that's why. His
Mhm.
sense of humor is like super dark, but he like openly like says it and he doesn't care. I don't know, I think I just find his sense of humor very refreshing. You just gotta like listen to him and like the way he talks, his mannerisms just really add to it. He's just like this British guy, so I don't know. Anything just sounds funny, maybe.
That's a bit
Racist.
racist, but okay. No, I like accents. Too. I find accents funny. Not
just
funny, but
adds.
it's just interesting. It's just like, oh, like they're from like a different world.
So do you think British people don't find him funny? Well, that's the real test,
Okay,
right?
I
If they
think.
find, if
Oh
they
no.
find you funny past the accent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, true. Um, well, I don't know. I don't like where this convo is going. So
Yeah. Let's
with
switch it
that,
up.
okay, let's just switch
Well,
that back.
what have you learned from these comedians, and what do you feel like you've brought into your own style?
Oh no. I think the biggest thing is just to be yourself. Like, because if you start copying the way someone else is doing it, someone's gonna pick it up, and that's just a shit show for you. So, and also I feel like it won't deliver as naturally to you.
Definitely.
Look, you've done that
I'm just
before.
imagining
So.
you like trying to do David So comedy, like just swearing and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, that's sound like Joyce.
Yeah.
No. I don't even know how I could try to do that.
Really
um,
good.
yeah,
Great. I love it.
maybe
I hear
imitate like a
more
black
about
woman.
your experiment.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's jump
we're
to
going into that. We're going into
Yes,
that.
let's go in.
all right.
Ooh,
Okay.
I'm about to dab. Thank you.
Oh wow, nice, very nice, very nice.
So yeah, take us on a journey. How did it start? How did this idea? Were you on the toilet? Were you like horn dog or wholesome? Or how did this thought process?
Oh my
Um,
god, I have no idea how it started. I think I just like thought of it and then it just kind of grew, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess we're here now. What was it? Okay, I think okay. I have a confession. All right, honestly, it just started because it's been a while. I've been by myself for a long time in this ISO. Girl has needs.
True. We all have needs.
We all have needs. And we were just a little bit bored, and we just wanted that extra attention. So we downloaded it, and then we thought, instead of just like doing this for myself, I should do it for the betterment of humanity.
You are
So,
a kind soul.
I'm a saint. What can I say?
Wow, Mother Teresa.
I am. Let the light shine.
Yeah. Do your thing, girl. Support you.
Honestly, yeah. It was just.
And
But
what have
yeah,
you learned?
what
on
have
the
I learned?
journey?
Well, you will find in part 3. But no, honestly, it's kind of the same. Like, no one's really that much different. But it's interesting because like I was just swiping right constantly. I didn't look at what anyone looked like, so I was just talking to a bunch of different people that I probably would never have talked to if I had looked at their profile properly. So
Okay.
it was just kind of nice to just like good or bad, it was just nice to talk to like different people from different walks of life. And um it was just like really interesting conversation. And I feel like I do find that like if you're willing to be open, the other person is like more likely to be willing to be open as well. So you have to really like be vulnerable yourself, or be wanting that kind of depth in conversation for the other person to realize, oh, okay, they're also about that vibe, and then they will also, you know, reciprocate.
Quick question: Are ugly people better at conversation?
Okay. Okay. So facts. Real questions here. Yes.
You know, 'cause, like you can't rely on your photo if it's like people don't find you attractive usually.
Yes.
You know, so
that is
do
true.
they make
You
up
need
for
skills in other
it?
areas.
Yeah, do they make up for it in conversation?
You'd think so. Hey, you'd really think so. So some of the creepier dudes that I talked to, low key, they were the 2 out of 10s. Okay, they were.
Right. And define creepy. Like, what? How do you be like,
okay.
that's creepy?
There was like one. He started off. Okay, there was this one dude. He started off by saying like, "Oh my god, I can't believe we're married." And I'm like, what the fuck?
Straight away.
Wow.
Like,
straight away. And I'm like,
I didn't know JD was on Tinder.
I was like, you missed a few steps, but yeah, okay, that's not like the creepiest thing.
I can't believe we're married. Okay.
But yeah, he would say stuff like that, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna like meet your parents and take you out for some good food, and I'm like, I have to say yes first, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, because I had to like, I stopped the experiment, but I kept the app so I could like take screenshots and like put it in my editing and whatnot. But then like, because I just stopped replying to everyone, that dude would like keep like messaging afterwards, like, you know, triple texts and stuff
scary.
like that.
That's a bit scary, hey?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
I've never been triple texted, but yeah, I'm sure it's scary.
It's not scary. It's more that just like, you are so desperate. Like, this is why you don't have anyone. Like, you need to like, get the hint. Yeah, sit down, man. Sit down.
It's like, imagine that in real life conversation. A triple text is pretty much them saying 3 sentences without you saying anything, right?
I mean, there are some people like that. They are.
True. Yeah.
They are not fun. They are not fun people.
I guess it's like 3 things, but like if they're not even responding and they're just like, and they just keep going, and then you can feel that, like, I don't know, that energy.
I feel like they've already decided what the conversation's going to be about before who they're going to have it with.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It does. You don't matter. Yeah. You don't matter to them. You're just a lamp to them. You don't have to say anything. Okay.
Right.
Well, have you had any wholesome conversations?
I have, actually. Okay, I'm normally not a very big fan of these apps, because like I've used them before, and every single time I've used them and I've gone out on a date with these guys, I just find that like, it's what you see online is so different to what you see offline.
True.
Even if you think, oh, I'm vibing with this guy, yeah, cool. When you see them, it's like, oh, wait, no, this is really different. Like the way they talk, the way they're like saying the stuff, how they look even, it's just like completely different. You're like, this is kind of like a waste of my time. I don't know. I just haven't had like the greatest experience. But there is this one guy that we were just like talking about Japan, and there was like no hint of like any like agenda or anything. It was just like, he just wanted to get to know me really platonically.
That's cool.
And genuinely. And it was like, he was a solid dude. I legit, I really liked him. But then like I ended the experiment, and then like I was talking to my friends, and they're just saying, Joyce, why don't you just like actually, talk to him, like use the app for the app, for the app's purpose. God damn it, Joyce.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
Tell your kids.
Yeah.
Story.
See where it goes. You might as well see where it goes, like you coincidentally like met a wholesome human being.
That is true.
Yeah.
He could join your YouTube channel, and then
Oh, that would get so many likes. Oh, facts.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then he has his own YouTube channel, and it's Small Chinese Boy.
I was just gonna say that as a small Chinese boy.
Hey, I want him to a big Chinese boy. Big Chinese boy, man.
Like, is it like Big Japan Man or some shit?
Big Japan Man. What?
Surely somebody has that.
Maybe.
Surely. What a shit name. Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
You should.
Maybe after this, I'll just like hit him up, because you can all the messages they save even if I've deleted the app. So, you know.
Did you say bye or anything, or you just?
I did, yeah. So for the
Okay.
people I really connected with, I gave them like a proper message saying like, oh, I don't have to use this app anymore, but just want to let you know, even though it was like a really brief conversation, I really appreciate how genuine you were, and you know, best of luck for 2020, blah blah blah. And most didn't reply after that, which is like super fair. But he actually replied, and he also just said like, oh yeah, no, it was really nice to get to know you, and you know, hope 2020 is good for you as well. And that's why he's like my favorite guy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he's a wholesome dude. Yeah.
Did you tell them that it was an experiment after as well? Like, is that?
No, that would be such a dick move, man.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, do these guys know, or they just don't know?
I wouldn't respond. I'd probably be pretty hurt. I'm like, I'm just a rat to her.
Yeah, exactly. It's because I was like really trying to think of a way to like let them go without like me. I don't know. I was trying to like think of the best like lie or not lie. I didn't know how to go about it, so I just said, oh, I'll just say I don't need to use the app anymore. Like that could mean a lot of things, and they won't ask any more questions.
Fair enough.
I found my man.
Found my man's.
Oh man.
Maybe you did.
Maybe I did. But yeah, I'll update you guys for sure.
Yeah, for
Ooh,
sure.
I'm excited to hear. Cool. So what's next then? What's are you gonna do any more experiments, or are you what's on for Small Chinese Girl?
I have a list of like ideas that just like randomly came to me. I will you know, develop them, suss them out, see how viable they are. And if they are, we'll see. I mean,
And how do you decide if they are or not? Do you have like someone that you go to, or do you just like, yep?
I think I just like think about it a lot, and if I personally find it funny, I don't care. I'm gonna do it.
And do you have high standards for humor?
High standards. Oh.
Which
Honestly, I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
Then you're gonna
You
make
just say-
everything on that list.
Yeah. Oh, okay. In terms of myself,
Yeah.
yeah, I have high standards. Like, because yeah, I don't want it to be cringy. I think there's like humor. It's a very fine line between being funny and just being like cringe. You know.
Right.
And like it on your part, it takes full commitment. But then if the content is already cringe, it's you can't make it work even if you fully commit to it.
Yeah.
So I think like how I judge if it's funny or not is like, first of all, like what is the intention of the video? Is it literally just for like laughter or whatnot, or do I want like an actual message behind it as well? Or is it just like mindless and stupid? I don't know, like me. Okay. Do you want me to read you some of my ideas?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's do it.
Okay. I haven't developed it. This is just like a sentence. Yeah? Oh, what do you say? What do you
all
say?
of these ideas.
Oh,
We just make
all right. Okay. I'm gonna read you this. You can take this. I read R18+ fanfics and try to retain my chastity.
What?
Wait, what?
Wait,
No,
say it again.
exactly.
No,
You can
one
take
time.
that if you want.
Say it again.
What
What?
was it?
I can't say that again. It's. I read R18+ fanfics and try to retain my chastity.
Oh my god. Retain your chastity.
The concept, okay, I only developed it a little bit. The concept is I just try to like, because how it started, right? Where I work in retail. I have to do a lot of announcements. And when I do, people always compliment me and say, Joyce, you have a very nice voice. So from that idea, I thought, what if I just like, with my very nice voice, I read the most vulgar, the most R18+ fanfics.
Oh.
And then I tried to like stay. I don't laugh. I just try to read it. Just try to get through it. No matter how vulgar it is, I just try to get through it.
Oh my god. That would be interesting because like you could do it for like heaps of different movies and stuff that people know, like Harry Potter or something, and it'll just be so interesting and like what people come up with.
Yeah, exactly. So you can take that idea if you want. I'd
I
like
want
to hear you guys do it.
I want you to do it. Maybe we should make an event and you could just read it out to everyone.
Zoom party.
Live stream.
Yeah.
Next live stream.
We'll have you as a performer.
Now Joyce with some spoken word.
Oh yeah. Everyone's in the audience like this.
They'll be like, what are we clicking for?
Dude, that would actually be tight. Everyone will be like, what?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I'll be the closing act.
Yes. Close it out.
And what would your intention be with something like that? Just to make someone laugh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
And just like question my life while I'm at it as well.
Well, what's the intention with the Tinder experiment?
It was out of curiosity, like on my part as well,
Mm.
and yeah, just to like, yeah, it was literally just like a pure like social experiment for me, and also like to make it entertaining for everyone as well.
Cool.
I think that's really just
What do you think was your biggest lesson from the experiment?
I think okay. The people that you talk to online or whatever, they are real people. I know like not many people, like I feel like people forget that just because you have this like anonymous thing that you hide behind, and yeah, you're literally behind a computer, so you don't have that confrontation and that directness. But just like remember, like you are still talking to a real person that has emotions and things like that. Because when I started this experiment, it was just like a troll thing, right? I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna just ghost people, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna just say whatever I want. But then as I was talking to these people, I started realizing, yeah, they are real.
The actual person.
Yeah. Like, obviously they're real. But it doesn't like fully register until you think about it a bit more, which is why like the experiment, I didn't let it last for longer than a few days. Because, you know, with the people that I really did connect with, imagine talking to that person for a week, going to like a real deep conversation, right? On a dating app. That person is automatically going to think, okay, this person is genuinely interested, and they're going to start, you know, getting attached, blah, blah, blah. Because feelings can develop really fast. I think we all know that. Yeah. And you know, your girl's a great conversationalist though.
Yep.
So yeah, and then as I thought about that, I was like, okay, yeah, don't want to, you know, hurt anyone unnecessarily just for my own curiosity. So that's why I capped it at a day and a half. And then yeah, again, that's why I also sent the messages afterwards. Only for those people. Like everyone else, there's just too many. I couldn't be fucked, and it wouldn't be genuine
How
anyway.
many were there?
I ended up talking to about like 30 people.
30 people.
Oh my god.
Most of them didn't respond though. So like maybe in terms of like actual conversations that I had to like keep going, maybe about 20.
Wow.
But it was really tiring, man.
Oh, you hustling.
Yeah.
I was. Oh
my god, that's a lot of conversations.
I know. Yeah. My social energy drains so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God I'm in quarantine. Like I have all this like stored energy, but yeah, it was yeah. But yeah, that's probably it. Never again.
Never again? You wouldn't go back on the app?
Would
you recommend it for others?
If you really don't have any other way to meet new people and you have time and it's like a priority for you, go for it. There's Bumble, there's Hinge. I like Hinge a little bit more because I mean, I don't want to, this is going to just sound like a dating app ad. I swear to God. I'm not a connoisseur, okay? I want to let people know I do not use these apps at all.
You can pay for this.
I'm getting paid for this. Sponsorship. Oh my God. Yeah, I think Hinge is a little bit better. There's just like, because it has like these options where they ask you questions and then you can show your answer. So you kind of get a gist of the person just by their profile already, like an even better understanding of the person.
Right.
But I mean, let's just meet people organically. Hey, go to a bar, say hi. Use your social skills.
That only happens in movies, but yeah, I think what's cool about dating apps, it gives opportunities for people that are afraid to make that initial step. Yeah, so it's cool that like the internet age has given that opportunity to people like me.
People like you, people like me. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's like just pros and cons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
like
that's like
social
with
media kind
anything.
of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, that's
Um,
cool.
but I think it's also good because it lets you meet people outside of your like normal circle as well.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because like yeah, I met like a lot of different people from those apps.
Do you feel like you meet
Good
a
or
lot of
bad.
people without the apps, like just in before
Yeah, I think
quarantine?
so.
You
I
do?
think okay. I think I'm pretty confident in my own like social skills. So I think I can make friends like anywhere and everywhere. Like that when I use those apps, it was just purely just out of curiosity and just like, oh, what else? Who else can I meet using these apps? Turns
Mm.
out to be a waste of my time. So that's why I never went on it again. But
Question: did you
yeah.
always like find yourself to be confident, or did you grow out, like into that when you after high school or something?
Ooh, I was actually not like this. I mean, I was always a very energetic, bubbly kid, but I think nobody like comes with good social skills. I mean, it's really rare. It's something you have to like really um, develop and improve over time. But I think like what sparked it, like especially my humor. Okay, I'm gonna like bring the mood down a little bit, but obviously,
No.
like, everyone gets like bullied in primary school and whatnot. So I got bullied a lot during then. And for especially like for my physical appearance, I was a little bit of a chubby kid or whatever. Um, so I wanted to take that attention away. So I started, just like making jokes, making fun of myself first before they made fun of me.
Mm.
And that became, and then, people just naturally started laughing. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can be that, funny clown person then. And then from there, just steps on. And then like from there, you kind of like find your own sense of self and self-esteem, and you be more confident. Your jokes aren't just like self-deprecating anymore, they're just like jokes. And then yeah, and I think it helps that like because I didn't have friends and I wanted friends, I was kind of a beanbag for everyone, which isn't good, but at the time I just wanted to make friends. So I was able to like connect with all these different people from different walks of life, and that gave me a lot of perspective and a lot of like opportunity to learn how to connect with different groups of people. And I think that's helped me because I feel like I am able to just like kind of adapt to the situation and converse with like anyone and everyone, no matter what. Um, but nowadays, I kind of prioritize who I want to talk to. I don't just like talk to people because like, oh, they're a person. I need to be friends with every single person, because that used to be my mindset, which is kind of toxic. Um, but yeah, so we've got a better balance now, and yeah.
Nice. Do you ever get shy in certain situations or anything like that, or is that confidence always there?
No, for sure. I think it's a facade, this confidence thing. I still like get nervous and shy, especially around people I really admire.
Mm.
Um, so obviously don't admire you guys that much. I'm joking.
Oh, I was
I'm
gonna say,
joking.
Like,
I'm joking.
really shy
I'm
right
joking.
now.
Well, then, actually, how?
Oh,
I'm
man.
joking. I'm so.
I think this is over.
Ooh.
That hurt.
Smooth it.
That hurt, but we
I
can move
love you
on.
guys. No, I
You
was
don't
so shy.
admire us.
No, I was so shy, but now we're friends. So,
We are friends.
Yeah, we were friends.
yeah. Don't be like that. Come on, man.
Do you have any
uh,
advice for people that are shy and like, just in general?
Good
mm,
question.
oh yeah, this was actually gonna be another another YouTube video idea.
Oof.
I think like realize that um most of the time the other person, because like okay, shyness really comes, I feel like a lot of time shyness comes from like the fact that you see them as like up here and you're like down here, like, oh, I can't talk to them, like they won't want to talk to me, blah blah blah, like, but most of the time they do not see themselves as up here. They're like
Right.
vibing here and they're just like thinking, why do you think of me up here? I'm here, you know. So just like understand like the person's probably just as open to open up as you are, you know. So don't think of yourself as like lower or anything. And I think like there's really nothing to lose. Like you say hi and maybe they just kind of say, they don't really give like a
Same
response back
energy.
or something like that, the same energy, right? So what, like they're not going to remember you, that, you know, it's not gonna hurt you or anything. I mean, I've done that before where like I say hi and the guy's just kind of like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, you know what I think every single time? I think that's your loss, baby. All right, I'm great.
Exactly.
Okay.
I feel like,
Sorry.
yeah, like one of my main values is that like everybody is so worried about themselves. So you shouldn't have to worry about other people and what they think of you. You know?
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Yeah.
For
And I
sure.
think like at the end of the day, like we're all human. So it's like they're probably, gone through their own things and they probably go through the same kind of situations with like people that they admire. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like putting yourself in their shoes, and like if you're going to be weird to them, then obviously they're not going to, like if you go off them and you're like, oh my god, then they're going to treat you like,
Yeah.
oh my god. But if you kind of like go up to someone as a person and you just, hey, like what's up, what's going on, then they're going to treat you a lot differently, and that
Mm-hmm.
whole shyness kind of just goes out the window. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Like an example that I can think of is that I went to Australian dance camp and Chris Martin was there. I did not say hi to him. I was like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I love him too much. I can't do this. But then in my recent trip to Japan, I met these like amazing Mexican choreographers, Yaret and Athami. They're from Project Home as well. And then after class, I think like when you're in a different country, you're kind of like in that mode where like, oh, no one knows me. I can just kind of like do what I want. Exactly. So I was kind of in that zone. So then after class, I was just like striking up conversation and I was just talking about like my day. I didn't even consider if they cared or not. I was just talking about my day. But then they found it funny and we were just talking and we ended up chatting for an extra 2 hours after class. And then we ended up getting dinner like before we all left. So then it just kind of made me think like, oh my God, why was because I didn't think about our hierarchy or anything. I was just like open to connect. If they want to connect, cool. Yeah. So that's like a really like nice thing. Like you just realize like, oh, it was just all in my head.
Yeah. You know? You're missing so many opportunities.
Yeah, like, I was about to say that.
Exactly.
That's
so cool. That's just like a first-hand experience of.
Well, shout out to Chris Martin for being a real one.
He probably thinks you hate him.
No, he doesn't know I exist.
We'll find out.
We'll see. I like to think like people at that level that have experienced that level of fame and would appreciate real conversation, you know, because they probably get a lot of people like talking about a certain story or opinion they have of them, but not really being real and just having a one-on-one convo. Yeah. It's like, how's your day? You eat yet?
Real convos.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I think like you notice that because I would never want to be that fan that's just like, oh my God, just screaming. I mean, okay, I kind of was for a little bit, but I try not to be. I really try not to be. Because I think everyone just wants to connect. Nobody wants people screaming at their faces.
Yeah.
I do.
I was like, oh, there was like silence, and I'm like, oh.
Wait, maybe some people do. Nah,
maybe some people do.
I think it's okay. I guess it's just like controlling that excitement because I think it's totally normal to be a fan of someone and to be a fan of their work. It's just like you don't need to be yelling it in their face. It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Just gotta hide it a little bit better, I would say.
Hide it a little bit. Yeah. You like being inside. You say, hey, what's going on? Then become friends and then like turn around like, oh my God,
yeah.
Play it cool. Play it cool.
He's like, yeah. No sweat. What?
That's so good. I feel like that's me in like a lot of like just business situations or like just scenarios when you're just working with people and you just got to play it cool, you know? It's like, it's like having a poker face on.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. And then after you're like, oh God, that was crazy.
Yeah. Like, did that just happen?
Yeah. I feel like we have so many car conversations like that. Like that was fucking sick.
We once had this meeting for cool. Like like this, I won't say the business, but
okay.
The budget was like really, really high and we were like, we just internalized and played it cool. Like, and then when we got to the elevator, we're holy shit!
That's insane!
It was funny. It was crazy. Yeah. We didn't get the job, but...
It's okay.
It's so good.
You know, you got to see it.
We played it cool, and that's the most important part.
Your pride was there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Integrity, you
That's
got
like,
that.
it's like trying to, I guess, just taking this whole back to the Tinder experiment. If you're like,
Sure.
She's
you're
like, oh, I was trying to get
Just
past that.
fucking milking the shit out of
Yeah.
this.
I gotta have a point with this. Like, if you're like
Okay,
that
okay.
guy, like that's constantly messaging, every 5 seconds in any situation, the other person on the other end is a bit like, well, that's too much for anything.
Mm.
So if you're a fan, you're spazzing it, or like, you're trying to, close a business deal, or you're trying to, talk to your audience or whatever it is. I think it's just understanding how people work
Yeah.
in terms of communication.
I guess it's like how a river flows, and if you are like trying to butt in with like conversation, like throwing rocks into the river,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It doesn't.
Yeah.
It
You gotta
doesn't
go with the
allow it
flow.
to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always just like that push and pull balance. You know, whatever the person's giving, you have to kind of like make it equal, or something like that. Or
Yeah,
if
you
you
gotta
want to push a
match
little
their
bit more, exactly, and they don't want to push, you gotta be like, okay, I'm not pushing.
Yeah, that's why like listening is so important in communication, and I don't think we listen enough nowadays. I feel like half the time we're like, all right, I want to talk about this, let's redirect it all the way, and then somehow you're talking about it, but it's not like wholesome.
Yep. Yep.
because you got
Bingo.
something on your mind.
Yeah.
And I think it's also like it's not just listening, it's also like active listening. Yeah, because you can listen, but then it's like you have you had those conversations where you're just talking, oh hey, that's not nice.
It's just funny because you were talking about it and we're both like, yeah. We want to make sure we're actively listening.
We're like,
to you.
yes.
Your faces just get closer and closer.
Go on. Sorry.
I lost my point. God.
Active
listening. Like you've had those conversations where like you're talking about something and then the person's like, yep, and then they just like move on to the next topic. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We could explore that a little bit, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that.
So it's like not really listening.
I feel like that's usually what happens with like toxic relationships when you are trying to confide in somebody and you're trying to tell them about your problems. They're like, oh yeah, that's like what happened to me when such and such, and it's just I don't know. It's very common, and I think if you can recognize that, then you should have a serious conversation or get new friends.
Yeah, facts. Actual facts. I had to like intervene a little bit because like this is kind of like how I view like relationships in general, like friendship, like platonic, romantic, or familial. All of them kind of like are similar in the sense that like all of them just need really good communication. And like respect and trust. So like even with someone like some of my best friends, sometimes there was this like one incident where every single time we were on the phone, it was always just like I was just like the rant bucket. Like even if I tried to say something, it would always just go back to her. And like I like this, I really love this person, I want to be there for them, right? But it has to be like both ways. Obviously there's only so much that you can like carry. So then I like I made it a point, I was like, hey, just I don't want to like I never like confrontation, but I just want to like let you know about something that kind of hurts me because I want this to like really work out because I value this friendship so much. And then I kind of let her know, and then like slowly we progress better. And I think that's just like a nice lesson to say, like if you really value something, don't just like toss it aside when it doesn't work. Work on it,
Exactly.
And if you really care about that person as well, you want to fix it rather than just move on,
Yeah, you can't just bury it because at the end of the day, it's going to grow and it gets worse. And then you might end up resenting each other because you've kind of left this thing to grow that's unnecessary. You could have just knocked it out straight away.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Yeah, that's deep.
That is deep.
You thought this was going to be a superficial combo?
No.
Bitch, you thought.
I expect nothing less. Well, we got to wrap it up soon. So we'll ask the question that we ask all our guests. And we kind of twisted it last week, but I kind of liked where it was last week in terms of going back in the future. And if you had a time machine, you went back and spoke to yourself like from 10 years ago, what advice would you give to yourself? What's a big key lesson that you feel like you'd be like, hey,
Grow taller.
How dare you? How dare
We're friends
you?
now.
I'm out. Wow.
Sorry, I ruined that. Sorry. You can take some time to think about it.
No, you took it. I was actually going to say that.
You gotta be quick.
Okay. Damn. What? You just said I could take my time.
I'm joking.
Wow. Okay. All right. So 10 years ago, I was 12. Ooh, fetus. Wow. Because like I grew up to be the person that I am today because I made all the same. I made the same, like all the mistakes that I made, and I learned from them. And I think I turned out like pretty all right.
Yeah.
Incredible
Say
human
yes.
being.
Say
The best
that's right.
human
That's
being
what
I have ever met.
You're the
That's what
best
I
Joyce
thought,
you could
man.
be.
Okay, I would say I have learned to like not give a shit. Like I think the first really big hurdle that I had to get over was like caring too much about every single thing in my life and every single person. I think that's specifically that, like I cared way too much, and I was just like giving myself away to people that like didn't deserve my time and resources, and I was like very emotionally drained, and it was like, and hence why like I let so many people like walk over me in that sense. So if I could learn to just like be confident in who I was and grow as a person earlier, I mean, I'd just be a boss ass bitch earlier, but you know,
Either way.
I think I would say that. Either way. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, just like learn to be confident in yourself.
Yeah. And not care so much about what other people think.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Sure.
I like that. That's a good reminder for me as well.
Mm.
I don't care what you think.
Are you okay? Are you okay, Tiggs?
No, I'm fine. I don't care what you think.
That's dope. Cool. All right. Well, how can people find you if they want to find out more about you?
Okay. Well, no. I
Tinder
am on YouTube.
Tinder.
Dang. Hey, no, hell no. I mean, if you guys down, if you're cool, I mean, you can find me on YouTube, Small Chinese Girl, on IG at Joyce the Loser, Liuser, because my last name's Liu.
Hey.
Fun thing there.
Whoa.
And
So smart.
Yeah,
You're
thanks.
smart.
Big brain energy here. Otherwise, yeah, I have a Facebook page, Small Chinese Girl.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for jumping on with us. It's nice catching up with you.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is so fun. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah. Usually people don't, but it ends up being, it is what it is.
We can't wait to see you in real life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in real life too.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hug everyone. Oh.
Yeah. Hopefully soon. We're getting there. But wishing you all the best during ISO, and looking forward to checking out some more YouTube videos. Definitely get some YouTube videos together.
Yeah, collabs.
Once we get out of the
way, for sure.
Slide in my DMs, boys.
Okay, we will.
I'm a married man. I can't do that. I'll use the business account.
Hey, your girl can come in too. Use business account.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always nice vibing with you, and your energy is always dope. So I feel like
thanks, man.
I was started going through YouTube videos and stuff as well, and I think it's sick, and I think there are big things on the way. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks,
keep it up.
So
we'll be watching.
Okay.
We'll be
in the most non-creepy way.
The most non-creepy way. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your night. And,
thanks, you guys too.
We appreciate you, Joyce. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, I'm going to